everybody, I'm here with just a quick chatty video about plans I have for the year ahead for 2025. So I'm recording this on December 30th of 2024. I'll probably put this up either on the 31st or the 1st. So first of all, I want to wish you all a very happy new year. I hope that 2025 brings us all wonderful things and blessings. And I hope that 2024 was good to you. I know that for me, 2024 had a lot of really wonderful blessings, and it also had some challenges too. And I'm sure it's probably the same for everybody. I know every year is a mixed bag, some more challenging than others, right? But let's hope that 2025, of course, brings us good things. So I just wanted to kind of just do a little like, hey, this is kind of what my plans are for 2025, and let you know. So here on YouTube, my aim is to make videos once a week, maybe twice a week if I'm feeling up to it. But I've kind of, sometimes I have this tendency when there is a new year, I'm sure other people have this too, where it's like, oh my God, I'm going to do all these things. I have all these plans. And then I kind of run out of steam along the way, or life happens and extra things get put on my plate or challenges. So I'm trying to actually make my goals a little smaller this year so that, you know, if I achieve them, awesome. And if I do more than that, then amazing, right? So my goal is to have a video up on YouTube every week. I am pretty consistent about that, about getting videos out once a week. And if I get one out twice a week, then awesome, amazing. That's just icing on the cake. One of the things I want to focus on this year, or at least the start of this year, I mean, who knows how the rest of the year is going to go, is I really want to talk about how the philosophy of Stoicism has really been influencing my practice as like a witch, and just generally spiritually as well. And so when I talk about Stoicism, I'm not talking about small s Stoicism, which is the idea that you should have like no emotions. And that's not what I'm talking about like at all. I'm talking about capital S Stoicism, which is philosophy from the Hellenistic period, from like is very popular in the first couple of centuries AD in Rome. Very popular philosophy, and one that's become more popular again recently. Unfortunately, this particular philosophy has, been hijacked a little bit by the manosphere and like warped. But what I'm really talking about is, the ideas around figures like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, and doing some reading in that area. Also follow Ryan Holiday's really excellent if you want to get into Stoicism. But it's really influenced my spiritual practice in a lot of ways, and I really wanted to talk about that somewhat this year. So that's something I am going to be talking about. I'm still going to be talking about tarot. Obviously, love tarot. Talking about the tarot cards I'm using. I actually want to this year go through my tarot collection. I know I said that last year too, but I really do want to go through it and kind of pass on, whether that's through selling or gifting, some of the decks I'm not using, and really keeping the core of the ones that I do use. And that also makes room for new ones to come in, because I think because my collection has become so large, I've become like sort of a little more picky about what new ones come into my collection. So I really want to go through that, and also like go through my books too, like go through and sort my books. So if that's something that you're interested in seeing, let me know. I have so many books like you don't see over there, but there are like piles of like books and decks and things I really need to get through. And that's one of my goals this year, is to like do some cleanup of like my books, my art supplies, my decks and things that are all over here, do some cleanup so that I can see and enjoy the things that I have, rather than just kind of all being like in stacks and piles and things. And so I can actually access them and enjoy them, but also pass on the ones that I'm not using so that other people can love them and appreciate them as well. So that's kind of one of the big things that I want to do this year. It's on a personal level, but I might also do some videos about that as well if people are interested. The other thing too is I'm really looking this year at focusing a lot on my creativity. I find that when I have time for my creativity, I feel so much more energized, and that energizes me for other things in my life, including, things like making YouTube videos and readings and all those kind of things. So creativity is really something that's really important for my spiritual and mental health, just my overall well-being. So I want to make a little more time for that and make some more time for like rest in my life, because I find that I end up being quite busy. Like, I'm usually an ambitious person. I have a lot going on my plate, and I need to make some time and room for rest so I don't get burned out. Because what often happens is I have big plans and ideas, I like do a whole bunch of stuff, and then I get totally burned out, and then I have to like take some time off. So I want to like kind of build rest into my schedule so I don't get so burned out by things. I know lots of people suffer from this as well. I know I am not alone in these situations. And so that's kind of one of my plans, is I want to make more time for painting and for making music and doing writing and all of that. So I really want to focus this year on creativity, and I'll probably be doing some videos about that as well. So I want to make some videos in that area. So segueing into, some of the stuff going on my Patreon, I want to do, starting in January, going through the artist way. This was something I attempted to do in the fall. Some other things happened where that didn't happen, but I really want to start that in January on my Patreon. I'm going to be switching over. I have like a level right now that's labeled Coven. I'll be switching it over to the artist level, and what we'll be doing is we'll be going through this book week by week. You don't have to. I don't want people to feel obligated or anything if you want to go along with that to buy this book. I'm really just going to be talking a lot about creativity. So even if you don't want to follow along or do exercises or anything, even if you just want to have discussions about creativity and maybe some like ideas and inspiration in that area, please feel free to follow along with that. I'll probably talk about it a little bit on the YouTube as well, but that's something I'm going to be doing on my Patreon for 2025, and that will take us, this book is a 12-week course in creativity, in opening up your creative just like your creativity, and it's also connected with your spirituality as well. This is a classic book, came out in I think 91, 92, and artists to this day still use it. So this is Artist Way by Julia Cameron. So talking about that, talking about creativity, and I really feel like, for me at least, creativity is a really important part of spirituality. So that's something I really want to focus on this year, and so I'll be doing that on my Patreon. Now, a lot of things on my Patreon are going to stay the same. I have my first level, secret level, is I have weekly astrology reports where I talk about the astrology for the week, and then I have tarot scopes where I pull a card for each of the signs. I love doing those. That's not going to change. And then I have the artist level. And then the next level above that is the Academy level, and right now we are going through the Aleister Crowley Tarot. We finished the Major Arcana, and now we're going to be talking about the pips and the court cards. So we'll be doing the aces, the twos, the threes, and that again should take us till the end of March as well. And then I'll be thinking about what I want to do next for that level. But if you're looking at learning kind of the Aleister Crowley Tarot, or like the Thoth Tarot, like those, his ideas around the tarot, which are slightly different than the Rider-Waite-Smith. They're not like that different, but there is some differences. We'll be talking about that. And then I have a couple of levels above that where you get a private reading each month. So the first week of the month, I send out private readings to people at those levels. And whatever level you're at, you get all the ones that are below. I'm really thinking about what I want to do for Patreon has where people can join for free. And I'd like to do a video for my patrons that have joined, like that are free, once a month, but I'm still thinking about what I kind of want to do in that area. I'm thinking I might do like either just videos around the Sabbath, or maybe like once a month videos talking about some of the, I'm not sure about the themes or what's going on astrologically, but I am thinking about what I want to do for the free members as well. So that's something that I'm still making some plans about. My Etsy shop is back up and running after it was like weird with Etsy. They had this whole thing with like taxes and stuff, and they made it super complicated, and it turned out that it wasn't like that big of a deal. So the Etsy shop is like back up and running, which is great. But my problem right now with Etsy is that, like, while I do think it's a really great, platform overall, they are just taking bigger and bigger chunks of money, and that means I have to like raise my prices in order to like make some more money, like to make the same amount of money back. And I know people are kind of like, we're all feeling the pinch, and I don't really like doing that. So my goal this year is I'm revamping my website, and I'm going to be putting up, I'm going to be switching, I'm going to be putting a shop up on my website, and I'm not going to I think I'm leaving the Etsy shop up definitely for this year, but I might switch over at some point to the website. And so I'll let people know how the progress goes with that. But if you want a reading from me right now, go to the Etsy shop. It is linked down below. Right now I am having a sale for January on year ahead readings. I have like a year ahead astrology reading where you look at your chart and what's going on for the year. I also have a year ahead angel reading that's new. And then I have a god and goddess archetypes for the year. That's really popular. That one's on sale as well for the month of January. But yeah, I want to switch over. I want to kind of move my shop to my website, just because Etsy's kind of, I don't know, like it's not as good as it used to be. And I just kind of want to move it over to my website, or to my website. Website wise, I am gonna, like, my plan is to like just refresh it a bit, put a shop up on there. I have like a monthly astrology headline email that I sent out, so that, like, that newsletter, that's not going to change. That's continuing on. And my blog, I talk about usually the full and new moons, but some of the astrology stuff, so that's going to continue as well. So a lot of it is kind of just continuing with some of the same stuff here, maybe a slightly different focus with creativity, but just kind of continuing on with a lot of the same things that I have been doing. But like I said, here on YouTube, I really want to talk a little bit more about how, like, Stoic philosophy is kind of like affected my practice, and you know, how different spiritual practices that I have, that it doesn't matter whether you're Wiccan or not, that have really, like, helped me. Things like journaling, also keeping track of my dreams has been, like, kind of eye-opening. I've started doing that this fall, and that's been a big eye-opener. And also just, you know, continuing to talk about things like tarot and what's sort of inspiring me. And we'll see what happens this year. You know, I often, like, a lot of people walk into a new year with like, oh, I have these big plans and goals. And then there's this whole idea that, you know, if you want to make God laugh, make plans, right? So not that I think that is bad to make plans. I think it's good to have some goals and things, but also just the way the last few years have gone. Just, you know, you never know what's going to happen and what life is going to throw at you. So you have to be flexible as well, and just be like, hey, you know, these are my hopes and my ideas, but let's see what's going to happen this year and what the world kind of throws at us. I did put up an astrology video last week about 2025, and it does look like it's a year of, on the world stage, a lot of changes, and I don't know how that's going to affect people on an individual level, but I also know that that's, you know, these shifts and changes, especially with like the outer planets like Uranus and Neptune shifting signs. We've had Pluto just recently shift fully into Aquarius. That this also means there's shifts and changes going on in our lives, in a lot of people's lives. And so I'm like, well, it's sort of this idea of like, I'm going to go with the flow of what the universe presents to me, but I'm also going to make some plans too, because I also believe that, you know, it's kind of a mix of both, of free will and of fate at the same time. And we have to kind of work with both of those things at the same time. So we'll see what happens this year. But yeah, this year I'd like to focus more on creativity and being creative, while still, you know, talking about things like witchcraft and spirituality, and also tarot as well. And that's kind of what I'm going to be doing this year. If you want to check out my Etsy shop or the Patreon, if you're interested in any of those things, you can check the links below. Otherwise, you know, just thank you for being here. Thank you to all my patrons. You guys are amazing. Thank you for supporting me through 2024. I really, really appreciate it. And I want to thank all of you here on YouTube too for like your wonderful comments and likes, and, you know, the discussions and things. Like, it's just been really great. And I am still shocked that anybody, you know, out there listens, you know, to me or is interested in what I have to say. So I just want to say thank you so much. I appreciate you guys so much. You're amazing. And I'm wishing you all an amazing and wonderful 2025. Let's hope it brings wonderful new things our way for all of us, wherever we are in the world this year. And as always, peace and love and light.